Think I need a haircut. Look at this. It's all over the place. Hey, welcome to Mobb Guppy, where the guppy is the mob. Today's episode, becoming Mobb Guppy. Saw a special on Netflix uh, called "Becoming Michelle Obama." And wasn't she always Michelle Obama when she married? The guy. She's always that. That's sort of my deal. All right, Griffin Fishroom, Anthony's fishy friends. What up? How y'all doing? How are you all doing? It is a beautiful Saturday in lovely Joplin, Missouri. It rained for about 5 days. I went out back to fill up the bird feeder because I feed the birds. Alice, hello from Norway. So I went out. Stopped raining about 5 o'clock yesterday, and I mean totally wet. Chattanooga, Ed, how are the fish? How are the fish? All right, gang. Hey, let's see here. A couple little notes in the old fish room type of thing. I've been kind of a sluggard. I've been so busy this last month moving in, getting all that sort of stuff going. I've got to get the more aquariums set up in a pretty serious way. I also really it said they were at the post office, Ed. Um, I got a note on them yesterday that for whatever reason they're holding them at the post office. So I don't know what the deal is there. And let me see the last note I got on them. They arrived yesterday. So it's and see here. What time did they pull in? I'm gonna go look at my USPS notifications. Let's see, available for pickup 5/15/2020 in Dayton, Tennessee. So, yeah, I have no idea why they held it there, but you may want to zip over to your post office real quick and pick them up. Yeah, because I don't know what time your post office is. I don't know why they're holding it there. I didn't request that. So I don't know what the deal is. So, yeah, that's why it's I sent you a note yesterday on it, just seeing how they were. All right, couple of notes here. Um, yeah, so I've been just busy, I've been doing junk in the fish room, getting stuff organized. I just need to set up more aquariums. Let's see here. Alice, you're stalking Anthony as you should. You really should be his stalker. And I don't know if Mrs. Anthony is all that thrilled about that, but what do I care? I'm ensconced with my sissy dog's tail as he's sitting here eating. I'll give you a bolo story from yesterday morning. So I get up again at the crack before the crack of dawn, well before the crack of dawn. So in the morning I brew up a pot of coffee. I sit down, do a little work, check out the news, check out stuff where I have to go to work. All of a sudden, he's going bonkers, absolutely bonkers. He's like looking under my computer. I have like a computer desk thing that a cheap one that I spent like $18 on, and so I spent like $18 on it, so it's a cheapie, and he's like barking. He's like going nuts, and so he like falls off the couch. He's kind of limping a little bit, but he's fine. He falls off the couch. I get back up, and then he starts barking. So I look under the computer, and there was a spider there. And I'm going, okay. So I went and killed the little bastard and sent him off to hell. And so the rest of the day yesterday, he was like guarding me if I went to the restroom. He was following me over, turning around and looking out to make sure nothing was going to go wrong with his daddy. So that's the type of little guy he is. Hope your Saturday is going well. I went out and did a lot of my grocery shopping, not all of it, but I got a lot done. I've got to do one or two things either today or tomorrow, and then I'm gonna chill. Like I guess I have to get my taxes ready to go. I have my appointment with the CPA on. Hey, Doug Gray in the house. Um, I have an appointment with my tax guy on. Let's see here. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, I think so. Let me look because I'm confused. Like a big week. I have the dentist on Tuesday. Let's see here. Dentist on Tuesday. Um, taxes on Wednesday. Yeah, it's pretty much like pulling teeth. I got it going on, which is nice. So I haven't been to a dentist in about a year. Yeah, I'm fine. It's just I need to, it's good to go in get that biannual cleaning. It's good to get that cleaning. So yeah, so I need to do a couple more errands. It's Chattanooga Ed in the house as well. You know what the weird thing is? I'm going to give you a weird deal here. Is you know you go through and you have to get all the taxes done and all that sort of stuff. Big J's, fish keeper in the house. Oh, so you buy a home. Here's what your life turns into. For those of you who are renting and not owning a home, and I hadn't owned a home in about a decade, mainly because for my career I was moving around, and I owned a home right before the real estate crash in 2008, and so it was a little over a decade. And I lived in New York City, and to find a home that you can afford, even on a real nice salary. My ex-wife and I had a very nice combined income. To get into any type of house you'd want to live in, you were going to be an hour out from Manhattan. And I didn't want to be spend 2+ hours, in the car. And that's not including the train stuff in the city. I had no desire to do that. None. 0.0. So I went and I decided that I was going to do whatever it could to go through and and I'd forgotten the thing is that when you're a homeowner, you take on all sorts of responsibilities. It's the biggest investment most of us will ever make. And I forgot everything. Best pizza? Oh, New York. No question. No question. Um, I will tell you that the eateries in San Francisco are terrific. Especially if you like Asian food. If you like Japanese food, Szechuan, Cantonese, Vietnamese. In the Bay Area, you're in heaven. Thai food. I love Thai food. Um, it's New York City, though. The Italian food, the steak joints, the kosher places, the delis, the bagels. I love bagels. Nobody's better in New York. Nobody's better. It's it. I do miss going to Hell's Kitchen and walking down Hell's Kitchen and all these little funky little eateries that all sorts of different varieties, and you can just sit there and sort of walk up and down and sort of say, okay, I'll eat at that one. And I liked going to Hell's Kitchen a lot. Hey, Vinos Vinoksky Tanks. I always feel like I'm screwing the pronunciation of your name, and I apologize. Um, where's our buddy Bob Kaler? I watched Bob Kaler live stream the other day where he was just driving around Chattanooga, and he pulled up to a fish store that was doing a remodel, and he was scared it was going to close. Yeah. Now here's the deal, Chattanooga Ed, is that New York has the best pizza, but the place that I actually really like Chicago style pizza if it's good. If it's good, deep dish Chicago pizza. It's so that is hey Valley Fish, welcome to the live stream. He was hanging out with three of the Walmart babes today. Yeah, very well could be. I hit Walmart this morning at 8 a.m. and I picked up. I have a fridge full of stuff now. Went to Sam's Club because we don't have no Costco, and I went into Sam's Club, and they were out of my drink of choice, Diet Dr Pepper. So I had to buy a case of instead of Diet Dr Pepper, I got a case of Diet Coke. So that's yeah, a good Chicago pizza. I'll tell you what, I've had some Chicago pizza even in Chicago where it's so damn salty. Yeah, Uno's was a good chain. It's it when I lived in San Antonio, there was a place with a couple of locations. Which, if you're any type of a fan of conspiracies and the Kennedy administration and the death of JFK, here's the name of this place, and I think they're both closed now, which is sad. It was Kennedy's Chicago Pizza. Okay, couple of things. Number one, a little historical thing is that Kennedy's an Irish name. Okay, the Irish are fine, no problem with the Irish, but I don't think of the Irish in delicious pizza. I want Italian. Now, my favorite place, I lived in Hackensack, New Jersey, and my favorite place in Hackensack was Wise Guys. It was owned by a couple of brothers who were Turkish, but they had Italian nicknames. Rocco was the and I forget what the other brothers, but it was another Italian nickname. No, it wasn't Lefty the Nose. And and yeah, you know what? If Aquashella happens in Chicago, my sister's living there now. I'm going. My sister was very paranoid about me bringing Bolo up there because she thought, she goes, well, I don't know how her dog, she has a younger golden retriever, was going to handle having another dog in the house. Her son has a cat. Her son lives in New York City, has a cat, and came home because he's going to college in New York City, and he was telecommuting, and he was locked in a dorm room. He couldn't leave his dorm room, so he just drove back to Chicago. and it by within like about 3 days, the cat and the dog were like buddies. But here's the deal: the cat was in charge, and my nephew's cat is like 4 times the size of Bolo. I mean, it's like a monster. It's like it's going in from there. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I had a food allergy when I was a kid, and as you can see, we're talking about fish. We always go on tangents here, and usually it's Chewy sends us up there. Um, bananas. Is that what you were meaning, Alice? Well, if you like a ton of cheese, Chicago is your style. It is. It's loaded up with cheese. So yeah, the cat took over the house, and when the cat left, the dog was sad. So no, I do not. But again, I'm reasonably sophisticated, but not that sophisticated. So help me out, Alice. What am I missing? Is this like a Norwegian thing that my dad, grew up in a, mixed family, Swedish and Norwegian. And my dad hated, German last name. Um, oh, pineapple on your pizza. That's a big controversy in the United States here, Alice. There are some people who love pineapple. Some people, it's every other language for pineapple. That's funny. Pineapple on pizza is one of the great controversies in the United States. You'll find pizza people who love it, and you'll find people who dislike it. Now, I'm not anti, uh, pineapple on the pizza. You see, well, Alice, we're Americans, and that's sort of how we roll. Not good. Americans have a lot of great things, and you know, obviously freed the world from the Germans twice. So we got some things going for us. But our colloquialisms and our uniqueness and things, different cultures. It's the United States. The best way to describe the United States, and yeah, we have spam, and the Samoans, our Samoan crew, they love the spam. Mm. I bought 2 of these of Diet Dr Pepper at Walmart because I needed to have some caffeine. This is my second one. It's really good. It's spam is quite a deal, but the Samoans, they look at spam as a delicacy. The Americans, not so much. But it's you slice it up and you fry it up and then you throw some eggs on it. Top notch. My dad did not like Scandinavian food except for one thing: Swedish sausage. He was a big fan. King Oscar, uh, Norwegian, sardines, big fan. Not much of a fan. He wasn't much of a fan of kippered snacks from King Oscar, the best of Norwegian sardine. And by the way, for any of you who have not eaten sardines, or you've had like the cheap sardines, and you go, yeah, it's not my thing, but I like fish. Swedish meatballs are really good. Swedish sausage is better. But here's the problem with Swedish sausage. It's gray. It's about the color of my shirt or my remaining hair. Just sort of how that works. It yeah, but Americans sort of have done this. Is that, and I don't quite understand this, and somebody help me out. Danish sausage is better and they're red. Okay. Now the deal is you can find a Danish restaurant in the United States. My mom's older sister lives in the Bay Area, near where Microsoft is, not Microsoft, where Google is and Facebook, that area. She's in Silicon Valley. Norwegian cheese is good. I love me some Norwegian cheese. Um, it's and you can find some Danish restaurants. What you cannot find in the United States is Norwegian and Swedish restaurants. You can find, there's, and I don't call IKEA official place to go. Um, Bronost, and yeah, I love me some. I'm a big fan of the whole, the Scandinavian culture. Lefse, I love Lefse. Lutefisk, I've never had lutefisk. I would love to have it. The reason I haven't had uh, lutefisk is is that my old man never wanted it, so he would not allow lutefisk. He would not do anything having to do with lutefisk, which is it. In fact, I remember he would do torsk, which is cod, and drawn butter, which is very very good. I like torsk. He'd do that. Um, one of my dad's sisters always has at like Thanksgiving and Christmas always has Swedish sausage, which I'm a big fan of. And so that's that's sort of the deal. Um, so again, that's having to deal with the wonders of Scandinavian cooking. Um, it's a heck of a deal. Again, it's just the limited stuff. My old man liked the German food, and my mom, who was not German, learned how to make a pork roast, learned how to make pork chops, learned how to make good sauerkraut, all that sort of stuff. Real big in the Thiel household growing up back in the day. And so that's one of the things I really, really enjoy. Google Pinne Clock. It's and it's funny is my grandfather grew up in a German household, but apparently they spoke well, the mother was adopted and apparently she spoke Swedish. So it's that she spoke my grandfather's family apparently around the house spoke Swedish. So there you go. The more you know. So I'm googling what you sent to do. Uh, oh yeah. Dried mutton ribs. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I love mutton. I'm a big fan of lamb. Hat Trick Farm. Welcome to the live stream. Hey, have I missed anybody here? Hold on, let me go back, make sure I didn't miss saying hi to somebody. Nope, I said hi to everybody. If you haven't said hi to us, we want you to say hi. So if you're here and haven't checked in, please do. We want to greet you and pass on, uh, So that's that's really good. That's Christmas dinner for you, Alice. You know what I love for Christmas dinner? And I had one time and I was just going, I'll have it at any time. Now, it's again my eating habits, which I've shared before. I'm what you call a modified vegan. So I'll eat fish occasionally. I have red meat about once a week. Um, but essentially I'll eat nothing but vegan foods. No, the thing that I love is goose. Goose for Christmas. Absolutely fantastic. I had a company that I worked for. I worked with, not for, but I worked with, was a restaurant, and that's no longer in business in the Twin Cities. And they did Christmas and Thanksgiving goose, and it was smoked, and it was amazing. There you go. Yeah, get that Scandinavian, get that Norwegian pronunciation. My brother's mother-in-law and my brother's wife. My brother's wife um, was raised for several years in Norway, and her mother, up to just recently, uh, owned a condo in Oslo, and she sold it, I guess, about 2 3 years ago. But my brother and his wife went to Norway several times, and they loved it, just absolutely. My brother thought it was just gorgeous. Well, the I yeah, what is it? Pinnacle. Okay, I'm gonna do the pronunciation there because I don't want to be. Let's go to the translation. Okay, translate. Okay, Google Translate. All right, let's go and do that. Lamb ribs. Here's the pronunciation. Peanut shot. Peanut shot. Peanut shot. That's right. Peanut shot. Yeah, you see, there you go. All I had to do is there. Why try to phonetically speak it when I don't speak Norwegian? Yeah, come to Estados Unidos when you can get on a plane again. God, it's buddy of mine was hitting me up. He goes, when was the last time you had a day off? Other than normal, Saturday or Sunday type of stuff. I have not had, except for a holiday, a holiday day off or something like that. I have not had a day off except for recovery from surgery, which was like about 2 days. It was like about a day, and I started showing up at the office just for a few minutes. Most of your relatives, Alice, are very religious. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's they still eat food, so it's they still do tours. The good news is that they're not doing meth. Should not be doing meth or coke or something like that. So big thumbs up, big thumbs up all the way around. So I purchased, uh, I've got to go, and I've been sort of thinking about how I'm going to do this. I have the shelving, and and one of the reasons why I haven't set up more of it is that it came with this sort of like, laminate wood that each shelf is supposed to hold 800 pounds. Okay. Well, I started noticing these things were beginning to warp. Last thing I need, in a rental, is what it is. When you own it, you're a little more concerned about leaking water. So I'm I'm in the process of trying to figure out how do I buttress these shelves, make these shelves a little more stout. And I've been thinking about a couple of different ways. One of the ways is, cut it down from 3 to, 2 shelves that hold 4 aquariums each. And, and put 2x4s just across the thing. And that should probably do a pretty good job with it. So I've been thinking about that. Also, I've been thinking, about, well, maybe I just get plywood and do that in. And I'm going, well, maybe that'll be the same problem. So I think I have to do. I think I have to do the 2x4s. So I'm gonna go and hit Lowe's or Home Depot and get those things. It's a 24 inches across, so I'll get it 25 inches. I'll have them do the cutting. Go from there. Chewy, welcome to the live stream. Great having you here. Now, Chewy, oh man, we're gonna go down what Chewy and I go down. I apologize for it. Telling you about Fishroom stuff, and all of a sudden now I'm going to ask Chewy a question. And if I ask Chewy a question, it's usually not about fish because he knows more than me. And you can't have that when hosting a live stream. But Chewy knows Canadian stuff. He's also a big music fan. So, Chewy, here's the question. Nickelback, popular in Canada or loathed in Canada? You let us know. Nickelback. It's taking Chewy a while to go through. He's basically say that loathed. Okay, Nickelback is loathed. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Aquashella too. I'm planning on going to Chicago. Dallas is closer. Dallas is about a 6-hour drive, but Chicago is about 10. No, not a guilty pleasure. Uh, Anthony, my problem with the guys is that I can handle a little bit of arrogance from musicians if their music is adventurous and cool and they're doing neat stuff. Like if David Bowie was arrogant, from all I can tell, he was not necessarily known for that. I could live with it. It's David Bowie. Bob Dylan, a little bit of arrogance, be fine. But when you're producing stuff that's that's going from there. And so Hat Trick Farm doing working the horses and yard work. There you go. My it's let's see, my horses. Let's see, Lazy Daisy traveled to Churchill Downs this week. She's getting ready to race there. I'm guessing she's probably about 2-3 weeks away from racing. No, I don't know, Chewy, what Nickelback's name was before they ruined the words nickel and the words back. Oh, 2 hours of sleep, Anthony? Yeah, it's not good. I'm like, I've got to get this morning. I didn't set the alarm, and I woke up with a headache at 4 a.m. That's my normal wake up. Or more normal wake up time is 3:45 since I moved to the new place. It's a little bit further than my last place was from the office. So I get up at 3:45. So at 4 a.m. I'm like a raccoon, man. I'm just like I try to get back to sleep. And so it just all of a sudden I'm sitting there. It's like 5 a.m. I go, okay, screw it. I'm getting up. I'm waking. No weird. No Constantine from American Idol underneath my anywhere in my home. I used to not like Diet Dr. Pepper, and they improved it. Yeah, I am a shareholder in five thoroughbreds. Um, the most successful of them, she just turned three. Lazy Daisy. Lazy Daisy was in the Breeders' Cup last year. She had her first race back. She took a winter break, and because of issues with horse tracks not being open, I think they were planning on running her at Santa Anita. She was out there. They moved her to Oaklawn, and she was up against really great horses and who had all run. And she finished in sixth place. She ran really well. And Village Idiots. God, that's actually a better name than Nickelback because that's what they are. Okay, and so um, they were managed by Clyde Hill, uh, Magnetized Management. Very cool. So here's the deal: is that she just went to Churchill Downs. I own three 3-year-olds and two 2-year-olds, and my other 3-year-old filly is a horse named Daddy's Joy. She had her first race late November and didn't do real well, and apparently she like started losing weight and stuff like that, and so they had to put her like in rehab. For whatever reason, she didn't react well. So she's just going back into serious training now, and she started putting weight on about 6 weeks ago and is doing really well. I was beginning to think they were just going to retire her and send her to be retrained to be a therapy horse or whatever because she's a pretty mellow horse. The other one is a colt by the name of Wayne O. And Wayne O, um, on his third start, he won. He defeated two horses that are in top 10 Kentucky Derby conversation. And he had a little bit of an injury. And well, he went to his next race and he was doing really well, then fell off at the end. And they didn't like the way he ran, so they did a scan on him and his ankles, which they don't call ankles on horses, they call them fellocks. Is that right? Um, it Or fecklocks. They went and did a scan and they were bruised. So they gave him 60 days off and he started just started getting moved in, around February, middle of February. They started riding him again and they started doing all that sort of stuff. And then he's now into he hasn't run what they call a breeze yet, but he's on his way. And The Matthew Good Band. I'll have to listen to them on with Amazon Music on my Alexa. So the process comes into is that yeah, and I have two 2-year-olds, and one of them is Solar Strike. He's a red. His sire is Tappet, which is the biggest of the big horses. He's year in year out is the number one stallion in the world. The second 2-year-old I have is American Heiress, and she is a daughter of American Pharaoh, and those just turned 2 years old. They're beginning to go into training right now, and so my guess is their first races will be middle. Probably the earliest races that we'll have is probably July or August. So they're allowing them to go in. Solar Strike is a freak. He's a good looking horse, and so there you go. So that's the deal. So I own it through, and anyone can do this. There's all the horses I'm into are sold out. But there's a website, and it was run by the guy who started Casper, the mattresses, called myracehorse.com. And they actually, I'm just about to buy into. They have a group of 4 fillies, and I'm just about to buy into. But I bought a house. I've been spending money on fish. So, I'm hoping later on this month or early next month I'll buy into a couple more things. Sit back and enjoy. I've really enjoyed it, and it's and the horses are so young into their careers that it's very difficult to have a go through. Um, I think it depends on the horse itself. Yes, Chattanooga Ed, is that because of the way this thing works in Solar Strike, I have 4 shares. And if in the owner's box, they usually allow like 40 people in. And I could go out for a tour if I get accepted. And Solar Strike, he's a little intense. So they probably just have you take a picture with him. Um, the American Pharaoh filly seems very sweet. I mean, people are petting her all the time. So if I get in to see her, yes. I'd like to. It would be really my goal here. I'm not that far away from Churchill Downs in Kentucky. My goal would be is that 2 of them are running on the same weekend, and I can drive out there and do it. A buddy of mine has said, "Hey, come and stay with me." I don't know if I'd do that. I'd probably just stay at a hotel. He's a good guy. It's just, I'm traveling with Bolo, and it's just easier for him to be in a hotel and that type of thing. So speaking about the whole it's I hope Aquashella comes off. They're beginning to loosen things up. Illinois has been really crazy about how slowly they've opened up. They're barely starting, and it's just nuts. Yes, I have ridden horses. Been a while, but I do ride horses. I like horses. When I was a kid, I liked it a lot more. As I've gotten older, let's just say that I feel bruised for a day or two after I go riding. But the idea of being a shareholder in on a horse, pretty cool, pretty fun. Yeah, horse riding is great. It's One of my dad's frat brothers. Last time I was up on a horse was probably 15. Well, no, that wasn't the last time I was up on a horse. Probably about 10 years ago. They're great. I love them. And I have not ridden a seahorse mainly because I squish it because I'm tubby, and tubby man squishes seahorse. News at 10. It's and I have not done. How many of you have saltwater aquariums? Just out of curiosity, or have had saltwater aquariums? Oh, a cutting horse. There you go. Okay, Anthony, you've got saltwater. Who else? How many saltwater tanks do you have, Anthony? This is a discussion that you can only have with the fish fam. How many do you have? Most people, it's one. But for us, long time ago when you're 16. Oh, Alice, that's very, very cool. Oh, riding a horse in the ocean. Now, there you go, Hat Trick Farm. Okay, you have 4 saltwater tanks, Anthony. Who else has saltwater fish as far as our group? I know that Doug doesn't. It's Mike at the fish barn. He does those cultures. It sounds like breeding clownfish is almost like breeding it's like a totally different process seemingly than doing yeah, I don't count brine shrimp hatcheries. I've got 2 of those up and running too. I need to move that, by the way. I need to go to like 4 of them. I need to go to 4 hatcheries. I need to to get that and get that in place so that we have more brine shrimp the better. No, I know it's just it's my deal with saltwater is that depending on the fish that you put in, just like the sensitivity to the salinity and all that sort of stuff, is just not something I've really desired getting into. And I also sort of like the idea of the breeding of the fish. And most saltwater fishes you cannot breed. You can breed the coral, and for whatever reason, that's not necessarily been a great deal of interest to me. As crazy as that may seem, so it's so that's sort of the deal right from there. I'm I generally am. That's just something I've never been that much into. I would like to do at some point. You know, I get tempted about the bettas, but I know about the whole thing that I would have 100 jars in the house, and it's just I've been keeping myself away from it. I am intrigued by discus, and I am intrigued by discus, but I'm not at the point of truly wanting to do it, of truly wanting to do the discus. So that's sort of where I'm at on that whole process. The discus thing, yeah, is really tempting. The Red Sea clownfish is one of the clowns not bred that often. That's interesting. Yeah, you see, there you go. I'm gonna breed shrimp, a shrimp, and a fish. Let's see here. Taco Bell not good today. Whenever you get bad Taco Bell, Ed, it's not a good thing. It's not a good day for anybody, is it? Bad Taco Bell. They're beginning to open up the inside of restaurants here. You know what has opened up here? They're doing very limited hours. Golden Corral. Golden Corral is open. And as be it for me, being in a buffet place doesn't seem like a real good place to be right now. Now, there is good news. The good news is um, that restaurants and all that sort of stuff. What's not open yet, and payday, I always like to do a cheap meal of some sort, and I'm really wanting a breakfast, a real nice breakfast, and a nice breakfast, and the type of place I think is a nice breakfast place is that I have seen the wonders of Waffle House. And I understand Waffle Houses have been opening up around the country. So I don't know what the whole they're not open here yet. So hopefully they begin to open up relatively soon because I am in favor of Waffle House. I think it's a heck of a deal. Excuse me. I'm okay. And I just saw that Churchill Downs is open today, which is good news. And I got an email on that, so that's good news. So it's the whole process of getting the season going on right from there. So again, things are beginning to open up. I hope they begin to open up where you are. What I find amazing is that the whole coronavirus thing, it seems to be the places that are really, really nailed are places that have, high concentration of people in a small place and public transportation. You'd only keep the wilds. Yeah, well, I think we're all over the Rona, Alice. I think we're all over it. I think we all want it to be done and over with so we can get back to living some semblance of a normal life. I'm in I'm in big I'm just very excited about the process of getting back to some sort of normalcy and getting back. Yeah, I'm sick of Rona. I'm sick of the whole deal. And and I think what's encouraging is the growth. People were very paranoid about Georgia opening up. Everybody said no. Trump said no. You had the health people said no. And they opened up slowly and have not had some big spike in cases. So it's really, really good. So I think we can look to Georgia. We can look at Florida. Florida, by the way, if you look at the people who have gotten ill and passed away from the Rona, a lot of people have been older folks have been living in assisted living and nursing homes by a shocking percentage. But that didn't happen in Florida. So whatever they did there was pretty good. Yeah, California needs to get open. My brother's in LA and they're still on full lockdown in Los Angeles, but they should really begin loosening it up. The deal about this thing was that they were slowing down the curve mainly because we were not prepared. We did not have the tests, we didn't have the PPEs, we didn't have the ventilators, we didn't have any of the stuff to go through with it. And guess what? We do now. So it's going on from there. So Doug, you've lost some weight. You haven't had a pizza since March 1st. That's good. Yeah, the water where I am is not necessarily really good discus water. But I do have an extra bedroom I can make into the discus room. I'm pretty happy with the guppies. I'm going to get one of the Asian strain of guppies. That's one of the things I'm going to do. So I'm looking forward to that very, very much. And getting the entire process of these beasties, uh, just getting everything rolling on with different things. Get one or two of the Asian strains. Probably just one because it's just because all of a sudden you start breeding it, you're gonna have 15 tanks of them, and before I know, I'll be like one of these people who has 200 tanks. Do I really want 200 tanks? Well, yes, I do. Uh, do I have the time for 200 tanks? No, and so that's sort of the deal there. So we'll keep track of that and find out all the different stuff having to do with um, all the different stuff with um, doing with the different strains, the different stuff. If you haven't seen Doug Gray's video of the fish that he got from ATFG, you need to do that. They're really, really cool videos, and these fish look gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I will do that. I will do that, Doug. Wow. So, yep, you're in business. Yeah, but Chewy, the problem with the green I haven't had greens, but the main problem is that sometimes you'll get them in, and you change the water on them, and all of a sudden they look blue. Or what I like to do is that they look chartreuse. What's chartreuse? What kind of a color is that? By the way, for those of you uh, who do the drinking game of how many times Bolo gets up and down, he has been on my lap for the entire live stream, passed out, happy little camper. So, in fact, after today's live stream, I have to go to my mailbox because I get my mail at the UPS store. Hey, Marco, how are you? Greetings from Italy. We got Norway. We've got Italy. We got Canada. We've got Estados Unidos. You want to see Bolo? All right. There's his food right there. There he is. So you can see this poor dog treated so poorly. There you go. Yeah, it's we've been by the way, Marco, a subject in today's live stream. And as you know, for anyone who comes to a Mob Guppy live stream, anything can be discussed. Anything, but music and food seems to go into it. Um, when it comes to pizza, is that more of an American creation, or what type of pizza do they have in Italy? I've not been to Italy, so I don't know. In fact, I was trying to think through this. I wonder where my passport is. I moved, so I have no idea. It's not like I'm going to be traveling out of the country anytime soon. I prefer, by the way, the cream sauce from good Italian places over red sauce, just as a thing. Pizza's more Greek. Yeah, that's. By the way, what about the whole deal here? What about the Greeks and restaurants? The Greeks do pretty good restaurants, everybody, as a culture. I mean, they really do good restaurants. Well, you have to realize something, Doug Ray, is that in Europe, it's pretty easy to zip across Europe. It, the European Union sort of opened it up. You don't have any good pizza in Chattanooga? I can't remember if you had pizza in Greece. Yeah. Crazy Italian women are doing well. Yeah, there you go, Marco. Thank you for the heads up. It, in fact, I'm looking over at the guppy tanks right now. I see my Roebuck Reds. So I need to set up more aquariums. So I have to set up a couple more Roebuck Red tanks. I also need to get a couple of chairs. I need to get like a stool to look at the lower tanks. Easier to sit down and be in front of them. See, you like pizza? Yeah. Well, Italy is really taking it in the shorts of this COVID-19. Absolutely. Hey, hey, good for you, Griffin Fishroom. There you go. There you go. That sounds great. More aquariums. It's always good. Got the Rona from Italy or from China? Our problem is, by the way, the one thing that, modern communication and travel has done is that it has shortened the distance between different peoples, different countries, all this different stuff. A lot of it's real positive because of that. The problem is that we're so connected that a place like China comes up with a pandemic, and the next pandemic could be happening from anywhere in the world. we're so connected to each other that people are traveling all over the world all the time. I have a buddy of mine who goes to China, you know, seemingly up to just, obviously the last several months. He generally has gone to China for work. He does importing. He goes to China every 6 weeks or so, and he's there for a week at a time. So, yeah, well, the Alps pretty good skiing. Sicily was very hot. Yeah, 30 degrees Celsius, 35 Celsius. Yeah, that's no, my friend is not Art Vandelay, and which is really sad because Art Vandelay and Vandelay Enterprises really good. But yeah, it's the process of traveling throughout the world and doing all that sort of stuff, pretty neat. But again, it makes the diseases travel so quick, and it also probably takes away the distinctions from different countries and different stuff. I know Art Vandelay was an importer and an exporter, real strong. By the way, it's a Seinfeld reference for those who didn't catch it. George Costanza. My favorite character on TV in the 90s was George Costanza. And I'm trying to think if there's a favorite character I have from 80s TV. Maybe someone can help me out here. 80s TV, the best character, and Don't Say Alf. It's Mr. Huxtable. Scully. Was that 80s or was that 90s? Ah, I don't know the answer to that. All right, gang. Thank you very much. We've been here for uh, an hour and 9 minutes. Thank you so much for joining in. Chattanooga Ed, pick up those guppies. Let me know how they are. Give me a big report. I hope you all have a great one, and thank you guys so much for being here. And it's let's get over coronavirus so we can go and pick up a new pandemic and pass it around. All right, gang, have a good one. See you later.